Okay, I go out walking and I take pictures. Sometimes I'll be out walking for 4 or 5 hours, and I'll just be out there on my own 2 feet, wearing a pair of footwear that can actually hold up, and I'll be just taking pictures and shooting video, just trying to conceptualize what to do with it. Usually I wind up in the creek, kind of crawling on the rocks, and just working with water, just taking time out to just literally just sit there and play with a stream of water, and I'm just out there and I'm just thinking, and I'm thinking and I'm thinking, and I've got to say I like that George Harrison video. Honestly, I like that video a lot. It was in the last blog. It was the poor little girl video. I like it. I put some time into it, and as I was putting it together, I was thinking, well, what am I going to add to it? I just came up with that, and it's one of the most potent videos of its type that I've ever put together. But it's really, I think it's any good. So I'm just leaving it there. It doesn't really associate with anything. I mean, it just kind of, it's about a truck driver who, listens to the morning edition on NPR, and there's things he wants for himself, and he just basically makes the delivery and gets the hell out of there. You can re-summarize it any way you want to, but that's what it's really about. And then it's also later, months later, that video was shot way back in January. I used it with Roger Miller's Do Wackadoo. I used some of it with The Syncopated Clock by Leroy Anderson and Bad Fingers Day After Day. In their own right, they were kind of like nice videos that I just put together. But after everything's said and done, hey, it's just a video. That's just all it is. So I'm just out there thinking, I'm thinking about the videos, and I'm thinking about my complaining about Gannett. What good is it going to do? They're a huge corporation. They call themselves a company, but I mean, it's just, and then everybody else drops the F-bomb, and I always drop the Jesus F-bomb, and well, you can thank the West Corners Baptist Church for that. I'm a product of a Baptist church. That's why it says so. All it takes is one minister that basically doesn't want to see somebody achieve. A minister who will say things like, give your whatever to God. As far as it goes for Christianity, I mean, look, after everything is said and done, I mean, if you want to play with puppets, go ahead and play with them, but what's really fundamental in the eternal truth? That you have to go through step X to get to step Y. You got to go through and do this, and this. Because the bottom line is with the church is that people who want to serve in it have been turned away. I mean, we're talking about a church that has turned people away. And that's a hard truth to live with. When people coming out of like Davis College, they don't give a damn about anything except themselves. All they are is steeped in their own definition of Christianity. Christianity for them, oh, Jesus Christ for them. But if anybody wants anything, anything happens with a minister, anybody says anything mean about his wife, But it's been a rude awakening, and I want to try to emphasize this. Why do I drop the Jesus F-bomb? Well, here's why. The rudest awakening I ever had was it was the West Corners Baptist Church. The pastor's wife works at a public radio station. It's a national public radio affiliate. And we would have these Wednesday night prayer meetings in the parsonage. She would sit on a couch and she would pray by asking God why he would allow things to happen to them. Oh man, that is a rude awakening. That there are people who will just sit on their fat asses and ask God why he would allow things to happen to them. But nobody wants to do anything in that church. They just sit on their fat asses, and every one of them is getting fat from just absolute laziness. People who don't have the willingness to achieve. And the thing is, nobody ever says, God, thank you so much for giving me the ability to do this, this, and this. They don't want ability in there. They just want people to sit on their lazy fat asses. So somebody comes along. In my case, I wanted to serve in the church. I said, well, I really want to serve in this Christian church. I've been here for 15, well actually 20 years at the time. I really want to serve in it, and it was always like one reason after another. And then there's people like Amy Cartner, who her husband was the minister, but he had an affair, and she wound up just a divorced woman, and but she's always had it where she wants to prove something, and then she comes up with these childish things. That's the thing about Christianity, is that they come up with such childish crap, such crap from the Christians. Nobody wants to look in terms of the continuation of humanity. They just want to go through like this absolutely whimsical, hey kids, come to Jesus type thing. And there's no substance to it. There's no substance. These are people without any substance. When the truth is thrown away so that you can go through the motions to appease only a few people, it's like if you play Christian with us, then you can get to go to heaven. But if not, you're going to go to hell. Well, I don't really want to play stupid with you. I mean, I don't really want to sit down on a couch and have a fat ass and ask God why he allows things to happen when I have the ability to go out and summons what I need, what I want. I want to be able to think for myself. I want to be able to achieve by assembling. I want to work with resources. I want to develop resources. So that's why with Gannett, what's happening here, my disapproval is basically, well, first of all, the manager that I was working under was decent enough to work under. So this new manager came in. He was a co-driver. He started nitpicking and everything. He started making us do things that we weren't even trained to do. So all of a sudden, I'm not driving a truck. I'm being asked to go load newspaper boxes somewhere in Binghamton, New York. I mean, look, on a map, it doesn't even show up. Okay, but I'm being asked to go out there and do stuff like that, and it's not involving driving a truck, and so I've got this big issue with the West Corners Baptist Church where they won't allow me in there because I wanted to serve, and I objected to a whole bunch of things that were just being turned away from. So I've got all this stuff going on with the church where it's been a big fight. I mean, you can say what you want to say about the church, you can do whatever you want to do, fly around with Jesus or whatever you crazy half-assed kids do. But, the bottom line is there's been some real serious issues with the church. It's been drawn out, it's gone on, and it's been a really serious situation. A really serious situation. So, then you come up on Gannett where, all of a sudden there's this manager who's, taking your hours, cutting them back, and then he hires somebody else to work full time. So as the truck drivers, we were just like barely making it by as it is, and then somebody else was hired and they were brought in here, and it's like, oh my God, this just, totally destroyed our income. And then, so that's where all this happens. But as far as it goes for the Jesus F-bomb, you want to thank somebody, you thank the West Corners Baptist Church for that, okay? The West Corners Baptist Church, you can thank them for the Jesus F-bomb. So people like Corey Adams and Dave Cook, you people are the father of the Jesus F-bomb. It's the fruit of your labor. It's what you get when you sit on your fat asses and ask God why he allows things to happen. Now, for those of you that can plan, that understand it, it's, when you got a dead horse down on the ground, you can't do much more with it except make it into emulsified protein and whatever. Well, anyways, that's why it's such a potent occurrence in front of Gannett. It's a situation with a church. It's a bad situation with a church that isn't fairly managed. It's just a church that falls back on the abstraction of Jesus. Whenever in doubt, use the name Jesus. Well, hey, you use the name Jesus. Why do you think I'm going to kiss your ass? I mean, that's the last thing I'm going to do is go out of my way for a group of people who just, sit around and ask God why he lets things happen. Why do you think God lets me kick the shit out of you spiritually? Because I want to, and God doesn't stop me because God hates it when people don't do anything for themselves. Did anybody ever say that to the Christians? I mean, did you ever look the Christians in the eye and say, hey, you know what? God hates it when you don't do anything for yourselves and you just sit on your fat ass and ask why. Maybe somebody should really tell them truthfully. Somebody should just take the Christians aside and say, look, if you're going to be stupid idiots, you're going to live the lives of stupid idiots. Stop the fucking fluff. Stop the fucking fluff. Get real. Start planning. Start building. Work with materials. Plan the future. Conceptualize it. Lay it out and build it. And that's where the trouble with the Christians starts. Especially the West Corners Baptist Church. But that's why Gannett gets the F-bomb so effortlessly used against them. It's just been being used like a Tommy gun. So I'm going to have to be more careful with the Jesus F-bomb. And I'm just acknowledging that you can thank the West Corners Baptist Church for the Jesus F-bomb. You can thank people who sit on their couches and say, God, why would you allow this to happen to us? Because God doesn't like you. God hates you when you sit on your fat ass and don't do anything. God hates people who sit on their fat, lazy asses and ask why. God only likes people who put things together. God likes those people a lot because they know how to build, and that's why. So, and that's that. And like I said, I really like that George Harrison video. I keep on watching it. And I see myself. I do see myself. I don't see myself as an antagonist. I just see myself as somebody who, is a real person with real feelings. And that's the whole thing about it. If you're in a church, if you're at work, you're going to have feelings. You're going to have real human feelings. They really exist. And no matter what type of criteria you write against it, it exists anyways. You can have Jesus or not have Jesus. All right, you can be a fundamentalist in any walk of life. And you're going to have real feelings. It doesn't matter what religion you are. It doesn't matter what your upbringing is. You're going to have real feelings sooner or later. And they're going to be real, and you're going to have to address them. And sometimes we address our feelings, and we say things to people that may scare them. It may intimidate them. There is nothing politically correct in expressing your feelings. Nothing. And yet it's the correct thing to do. You say what's on your mind on this planet. You express your points of view, you reinforce it, you support it, and sometimes people aren't going to have the same opinion that you have. And that's just the way it is. You don't pound their fucking heads in. You don't kick them down. You acknowledge them for what they are, but you always keep in mind that they're all human beings. And that's where the West Corners Baptist Church has fallen flat on its ass. The people who are coming out of this Davis College are just holier than Christ fucking thou. What is this shit? I mean, what is this shit? When people like Corey Adams can go into the West Corners Baptist Church and start deleting posts. We've had problems with the little fella censoring. He works at Lockheed Martin, and he has a censorship issue. Maybe I don't really want to pay. I don't want defense to be managed by somebody who his biggest hero is Jesus Christ, so he has to go through and delete other people's posts. No, little fat fella. We're not going to play Jesus Christ that way. We're going to talk and be straightforward. This is sort of the 70-year message for the West Corners Baptist Church, but it's also the video on my blog. I just want you people to know, where would such a bitter thing come from that I would say, Jesus Christ, F this. West Corners Baptist Church, Endicott, upstate New York. Yep, that's a real source of it. Somebody who wanted something, and at one point the pastor wrote, in this church you do not get what you want. People who want things go elsewhere. That's our reality. And I'm thinking, hey, you fat, drunken, fucking sack of shit. Your only reality in life is that you can't get a job elsewhere. You did work at IBM as a manager, but you were offered full-time employment afterward, and you weren't able to accept it, Oh, whoa, your holiness, and now you just want to fuck around with a little church in upstate New York, do you? And sit on your fat ass? Yeah, well, there's more to come, fella. There's more to come. I'm just giving you a little breather right now. I'm a little busy with Gannett. I'm having some real problems with him. I got a manager on my hands that has hired another person, displaced me a significant number of hours. I've had allocated hours for different runs reduced, and it looks like they're just looking for a reason to get me out of there. I said the Jesus Christ F-bomb to all of Gannett Binghamton on a YouTube video. It's not real pretty. It's not pretty at all. And additionally with Gannett, I really do think of them as like, what would happen if the Puritans that landed at Plymouth Rock, what if they were in charge of the media? Are these really the people that you would want in charge of the media? The self-righteous of self-righteous. So you have this watered-down media company in the United States of America, and they're in Great Britain. Newsquest. They're under Newsquest. But the principal concern is the American part of it. And they're just like watered down into nothing, and that's why they're failing so hard, because nobody wants the lack of content. There's just plenty of places in the United States of America where you can get real content, and additionally in the United Kingdom the BBC is just absolutely superior. BBC Radio, the BBC website, hey, it works awesome. I mean, it's freaking awesome. You can't hold a candlelight to that. Especially with some stripped down Puritan perspective. I mean, it doesn't even work. And another thing with the Gannett in the United States, I mean, there are nights in which newspapers are 75 newspapers into a bundle. I mean, you're looking at about 12 pages. If you have stock in this company, you're going to be screwed. You can't malnurture the American people like that. I mean, it's a huge disservice to inflict these people with such minimal media content. And admittedly, if you go to the television station's webpage, it's like, oh my God, what are you trying to convey? And another thing, I'm using Mozilla Firefox with AdBlock Plus. Oh, hang on, my cube sticks are frying. I gotta take care of something. Just a second. Okay, I just threw a little water on the cube steaks and just turned the heat down. I like them to be fried. I took them frozen out of the freezer and just broke them apart and chopped them up a little bit, put them in the frying pan, put an inch of water on them, and just let them cook down. Let them cook slow. So that was the distraction. Okay, so I've been to other churches, and I'm getting back to the church. I'm getting back to this West Corners Baptist Church in Endicott, upstate New York. I've been to lots of other churches. They don't have the issues. Even other Baptist churches, it's like the Baptist church across town. They have an Armed Forces Recognition Day. Like 30% of the people in the church served in the armed forces, and everything in the church is taken care of. These people get things done. If you served in the United States military and you're in the church, you're probably going to be in a position to get something done. And I see them, they get things done. They take care of everything. They take care of the church. They take care of the grounds. You come over here to the West Corners Baptist Church, it's like watching some fat fucker drink a methadone slushie. It's like, come on, fucker, put the cigarette out, get out there and mow the goddamn lawn. But he can't. And it's like this. What kind of racket do you use Christianity for? What other gag, things are there? It's like, put your goddamn cigarette out, get up and mow the lawn, you fat piece of shit. But that's really what it's like. I mean, it's like one church excels. They plan things out. The other church just basically has people who will use the name Jesus Christ in terms of appeasement. They want to try to get people to get conjured up in the genie thing. Ooh, Jesus Christ. Ooh, ooh. Oh, count me in. It's like, no, I'm busy pissing on the ground. Excuse me. Why don't you get up and do something, So we're talking about churches full of lazy people and where the Jesus Christ F-bomb really comes from. The Jesus Christ F-bomb is a product of churches full of lazy people that don't do anything. People sit around asking God why things happen. Say, hey, God, why do you do this to us? Oh, well, let me sit back more. Oh, just sit back. Yeah, just sit back. Sit back and ask God why he does things for you. Yeah. Oh, my God. You fucking worthless losers in humanity. Losers. Why does God let that happen? Ooh, I don't know. So anyways, that's the whole thing with the Christianity. And so now with Gannett, at this point, I think I'm a lot more free-spirited than I was before. And again, that's a product of a Baptist church. Okay, free-spirited thought, but there's real issues at Gannett. There's real serious issues. Obviously, people aren't going to keep reading newspapers forever. So the Gannett publications themselves, yeah, they're lousy. Now they do have contracts, they do print for other people. The best right now, like the best of the best in the media, really is characteristically a free newspaper. It's like you go into certain places and there's free papers. Yeah, they got a lot more leeway. They have so much more leeway, and that's where it's really at. And we know that. We see this. We're on the floor. We see what they're printing. It's like, oh yeah, check this out. This is like serious entertainment. I mean, just, the whole what's going on in an entire area is there. It's like looking through it. It's like, yeah, you gotta seriously be paying attention to come up with this. And on top of it, just good commentary. So the best newspapers right now in America are basically free newspapers that are distributed. And they're printed by numerous companies, but all the big companies make provisions to print as much as they can, and that's certainly true of Gannett. And there's some decent stuff out there. We got a couple that are decent. They're really decent. I mean, I like them, and so do other people on the planet. And then we look at our stuff, and it's like, oh my god, maybe if you cut like the CNN half-hour news down to about 2.5 minutes, and then you put a cooking tip in it, yeah, then so we like to look at everybody else's work because it's so much better, and that's where it's at. Well, anyways, but it takes, when we have bad administrative practices in a plant, a manager who all of a sudden, just basically makes it so you're not earning money, you're just, and he's trying to get me fired. I know that. I see what he does. He writes up everything. There's like all these little things are written up. I just want to drive the truck. The truth of the matter is, I don't want to write for them. I don't want to work in their newsroom. The only reason why I brought it up is because I had access to it, and I don't. I don't want to write for them. I hate their local stories. It's, and then what make matters worse, half the stuff I know the people in the first place. This is a small 2-bit area. I mean, this area is small as shit. It's the southern tier of New York State. It's like you can drive through in an hour and a half. You can drive through the Binghamton metropolitan area. You can drive through that in about 25 minutes. Oh, by the way, I live on the other side of the river. Yeah, whoop-de-freaking-do. Whoop-de-do. It's just... So anyhow, yeah, I'm not a big connoisseur over the private sector media. I like the nonprofit media, and I like the free newspapers, the ones that are a little more able to be expressive. I mean, that really matters. That there are actually people. The only people that are really making it in the newspaper industry are the people who have these free, almost like counterculture publications, but they're really insightful with they have all kinds of stuff in there. So that's. And then here I am, and I just turn out this George Harrison video, and I'm like, am I the punk of the century, or is this like really cool? I don't even know. I don't know. Maybe I'm a punk. Maybe I'm just a punk kid who turned out a George Harrison video with truck driving footage. But I think it's really cool. I'm getting warmed up. I go, what else can I do? I already got the steak on the stove, and I was trying to crisp it up a little bit. So, yeah, hey, I've had a really hard time with the church. Just like not being included in it and wanting to be included in it, and that causes a lot of pain. And then watching just idiotic philosophies, and then like, just to make it worse, then there's people who like use biblical references in support of it. If you have your head up your ass, how many biblical references do you need? You're a goddamn idiot. I mean, like... And then if you do anything to it, if you write anything about them, it's like, oh, they're being challenged. And it's the same thing with the media, It's the same thing with the media, It's like, oh, why would you go up against us? It's like, well, I don't know. I just want more than a Puritan perspective of the media. Maybe sometimes I want things more insightful, Maybe I want more information, So like, 5 o'clock I'm listening to All Things Considered. Listening to the BBC World News overnight, reading the BBC online. I actually have a Facebook page called The Road from Home and Around the World, and up until like 6 months ago I was actually copying and pasting links from the BBC on there. And so what happens is when you post a media link on Facebook, if you do it on a cumulative basis, you wind up with a lot of content. So I've been looking at things happening around the world. Yeah, I've heard of Earth. I know more about Earth than selling fucking cars in Brome County, New York, and a one-page advertisement dedicated to it. And of course now with AdBlock Plus, Mozilla Firefox AdBlock Plus, I'm not looking at any crap. If you have an advertisement online, I'm probably not looking at it. Thank God, thank God. There's people who think like me, who want open source software. So you can get the shit off of your monitor. Yeah. Yeah, So, now that we've made it clear that I'm not looking at advertisements, I'm immersed in public radio. I'm looking at the BBC. Okay, so what were the highlights? What were the highlights in the BBC? Well, let's see. Princeton University came up with the translucent fabric, semi-translucent. They achieved about 70% invisibility. I haven't seen any armbands yet that are invisible. I'm just waiting for the invisible fabric. I guess, and so, you read, articles here and there, Special Forces has parachutes that are invisible, and it's, well, yeah, the fabric exists, they probably have it, that's a fair gone conclusion, so, but I guess I'm just worried, somebody's going to come out of nowhere and pound the shit out of me, you ever get worried about that, well, I didn't see him, I just got shit beaten out of me by a parachute, but I'm just saying, I know this is long, but it's painful, what I am saying is painful. I'm telling you why I dropped the Jesus Christ F-bomb, because the church sucks when it's run by assholes. When people come out of Davis College and they think they're holier than thou, so they can interpret Jesus Christ any way they want to and exclude those that are willing, you can start fucking yourself for eternity now. Not later, now. Okay? Hey kids, the Bible school's not funny anymore. You're really hurting people with it. You're using Christianity to hurt people. I'm not laughing. I'm no longer laughing at Christianity. I think it's time for the puppet show to come to an end. This West Corners Baptist Church shit has gone too far. Way too far. This Gannett shit has gone way too far. This watered down media shit, and I feel bad for people. God damn it, I feel bad for old people. And I hear this, well, we don't have a computer at home. We had one when we worked, but we don't use one in the house. It's like, oh God, I'm sorry, you're looking at this the wrong way. The print media is shit. Okay, you can't get anywhere with it. They only put a few things in there. You have to have access to numerous locations. You've got to have a computer. You've got to understand what's out there. And it's such a disservice to print these thin, crappy papers. It's such a disservice. And then you charge people money for it. Go with the free publications. Go with the commercial print jobs. There's a good paper at Syracuse. There's a good one at Albany. There's some good papers out there. Some good. Just if you can't get a good political overview, go see what's going on for entertainment. Give it a whirl. See who's playing in town. Yeah. Okay, so am I an antichrist? No, I'm not. Do I accept the Jewish faith? Yes, I do. Yes, indeed, I do. Indeed, I do. I don't have a problem in there. Do you want to do anything with Jesus Christ? I suggest you do it not to discriminate against others, because when you do that, West Corners Baptist Church, it's a massive, massive problem. A massive problem. Okay, so I wanted to just basically say, as I was quickly saying, it was a nice day today. Kind of was about in the 60s. Took some photographs. I'm going to probably put a few videos together. I'm going to have dinner, and sorry about the Jesus F-bomb. Everyone at Gannett, I'm sorry about that. And I know I said it again on the other video when I was talking about it. As far as it went for the meeting with people at Gannett, making a comparison to a nuclear strike. Nuclear strike, that was the email that I sent with the YouTube video. It's a 35 kiloton nuclear strike right in there, purple cloud. And then we had the meeting, which was like discussing the storage temperature of strawberries. Really had a... so I walked out of there for like, oh my God. And then, the human resources director says, well, here's my card, which we couldn't work through. We couldn't resolve one issue in there, and we couldn't resolve one issue. And I was asked to admit that I used abusively violent language because I said, Jesus Christ, fuck, well, if that's the way the media is going to be, okay, you kids can have it. You kids can have the violently abusive language because of my choice of words. But I'm going to tell everyone that you're the most piss-poor, watered-down content in the United States of America, and you people can't convey a thought on a good day. And I'll end it with good day.